into the light. Oh, hey, hey, yes. Hi, you guys. So you know that this is where model poetry is where celebrities go to kind of rejuvenate, get away from the day, get away from their problems, talk about issues, just get suited because they're out in the public eye. And those who are also preparing to be in the public eye or to have an impact on those in the public eye come to model poetry. So we're going to talk about a few things today. I might not be on long, so come close and stay close. I want to talk to you about something that you might not expect. This track is called Whisper of Romance by Model Poetry. Whisper of Romance by Model Poetry. Just that I know what I've been waiting. It's just that yourself a chance. They call it a whisper of romance, but you're learning to love yourself. What's good with someone else? Whisper of romance. Give yourself a chance. I know it's been rough for you. I know it's true. A whisper of romance. When you love yourself, you give a chance. You give your dream chance to dance. You give it all the second glance. All that's good and I can stand. I know. So you guys, again, we want to thank people like Naomi Campbell for following cosmetics company. Thank you for the likes of our music. Supermodel Christy Turlington, thank you for the likes of our music. All the people in the public eye who are supporting model poetry or showing kindness to model poetry, whether you have 300 million followers or 3, it's really the leaders of their own group that are drawn to model poetry. So today, there's so much going on. You guys heard about what's happening in California. You guys have heard of some of the controversies on the set. And, there are times where you might feel isolated and you might feel like everything is just up in tumult. And there are so many people that are suffering. Sometimes you might even feel guilty for, having a moment of peace for yourself or a moment of happiness. But remember that if you really do want to help others, those moments moments that you take of joy for yourself can strengthen you so that you are strong enough to help others, to be there for others. So if you have a moment where you feel wonderful or you feel happy about what's happening in your own life or your accomplishment, I think that's okay. As long as you have others in mind, you always want to help others, those moments where you feel bolstered, where you feel joyful, where you feel happy, will only help you to others who are dealing with issues with their home, who are dealing with issues, so many controversies and things. You can be more of a support when you recognize the good things that you're experiencing, and it strengthens you to be here for others, to support others, to talk to others. So you guys, I want to tell you a quick story. On this channel, we talk about bullying. We ask the question, are you depressed? And, there was a story of this girl. Like I told you before, we might talk more in the future about who these people exactly that I bring up are. We might get into that. But for now, we'll say a girl who was on a part-time job. And, there was a younger person there, younger than her, who was in charge of something actually disparate from what she was doing. He was involved more in sort of like a technical maintenance in terms of where they were, like the mechanical maintenance of the line that they were running. And this girl usually got from whatever supervisor, instruction of what was to be done. So this young person, they used to chat. They used to chat all the time. His job was not very labor intensive, and it looked like he would kind of be, let's just say, playful throughout the day. It didn't seem like he had a heavy load, and her job was more intense in terms of, what she was doing, running that line. So they're working on, separate, projects. And so they're just chit-chatting and everything. Again, he's younger, has less education than she does, less formal education. And one day they're talking and he's like, wipe down this area or something, the case. Now, mind you, he's not her supervisor. And it wasn't something that the supervisor seemed to have prioritized. So, she was certainly not combative, very agreeable, but it wasn't really like his place to give those kinds of instructions. And she didn't want to be doing something that the supervisors didn't want her to be doing, didn't know where she was or what she was doing. So I'm going to tell you the end of this story in a second, but let me just sing you a little bit more. I'm going to tell you what happened at the end. You feel like so much is getting away. You've tried and tried until today. You feel like so much is on your shoulders right now. You've cried and cried, your tears falling down. No, it's not the time to give up. It's not the time to give up. Oh. So again, you guys, we're so grateful to the celebrities who are really the ones that pay us attention, and people in the leaders. So let me finish that story for you. We might go on live later tonight, and when you guys like Elizabeth did, like Miss Chicken Sandwich has, Rita has on this channel. You guys are absolutely wonderful, and we might mention you later. So let me finish with the story. So she's like, wow, he's not a supervisor. And they have been very, very friendly. Again, she's a team player. Whatever job needs to be done legitimately, she's ready to do it. But he wasn't even her supervisor, nor were they working on the same thing, really. So she didn't want to, again, be off doing some task that he'd asked her to do, and the supervisors didn't know what she was doing or why. Okay, but he's asking her, girl, can you get a bucket and wipe this thing down or whatever, and it really wasn't what she's been called there to do, So again, be combative, but she was like, oh, okay, well, is this something that, and again, he's younger, has less education, not a supervisor, likely involved with what her tasks are, and kind of seemed to have been goofing off most of the day himself, except for the few moments when he was called to do something. Other than that, he seemed so she was like, oh, okay, well, I don't know, is this something that they would want me to do? I was asked to do such and such, so I think I'm going to just remain here so they're not confused about what task I'm completing. And again, they've been very cordial, chit-chatting, so she didn't think of it. Next thing she knows, he's running over to one of the supervisors and talking to them like very definitively and, forthrightly, like he's got to get this information together and, very and then he comes back basically like along the lines of, oh, you must do what I asked you to do. And again, he's not a supervisor. Yes, it seemed he'd been there for a long time. He's stunned at this dynamic that, first of all, they had been cordial and just chit-chatting. And, if in the past he'd made a suggestion, in line with what she was doing, she would follow. He'd been there longer than she had. He talked a little bit about his experience there. But there was no indication by anyone that he was her supervisor or that he was supposed to be laying out the tasks that she was supposed to do. So it wasn't a way of her being combative or argumentative or not being a team player. There was no expectation that he was, giving instructions about tasks that should be done. It wasn't something he was doing for other people there. He was just focused on his work. But she coming as a new person on, it was like he wanted to give her instructions and he felt he had the right. And when she thought, he's just making casual suggestions, he just sidled up to the supervisor to, make sure that he can enforce this authority that she was understanding. Why would this kid even have that kind of authority? And it had never been described to her that he was in such a position. So she was like, wow, the desire that people have power. Now, people have this in differentiating levels. Not everybody has the same or, is so egotistical. But it's very interesting how if people can get sometimes any kind of power over somebody else, that they would be willing to take that, and going over to the supervisor basically to confirm that if she in any way said she wouldn't do what he'd ask, again, not her supervisor, and nobody had, they're not even working on the same tasks, but to get permission. I don't know if you guys have ever, seen anything like that. Put a 1 in that if you have, a 2 if you haven't, or, let your comment be. But if you are dealing with these kinds of things, or if we bring it to a broader issue of bullying and things, a lot of times that's where it comes from, whether it's on a job or in actually feel like they don't have real power in their lives. And this could be at any level. It could be somebody that's very poor, very wealthy, people that they supervise, who a person that does not have people that, this desire that some have control over somebody else and what they're doing. It makes you wonder, like, are you okay? Because that unhealthy need to control others is not going to proliferate in life. And for those of you who are dealing with bullying or unfair treatment, appropriate treatment, you know, your journey, are not well. And they may look for more and more reasons to control others, the less control they feel in their own lives. So don't forget that, and always try to be as cordial and cooperative as you can, and as reasonable as you can. But having those awarenesses, that's sometimes why that behavior can come out, you know. So I love you guys so much. You guys are such a wonderful community. Again, thank you. It's really just celebrities and people in the public eye that pay us any attention. And leaders, whether you have 3 million, 300 million, or three followers or 3 friends, it's usually the person who leader, impactful, that will be the one who loves Model 3 and who sticks in there and who leaves comments and who gives likes, you know. So thank you so much for that. Later, I'm going to take you out with a little bit of a song. But we love you guys so much. You're so wonderful. Thank you so much. and we'll see you next time.